Welcome to the Illuminate Your Essence podcast, where we cut through the distractions, programs, and stories that have created chaos in your life and discover the truth, bliss, and joy that exists beyond the external clutter and resides within. Welcome to Illuminate Your Essence. My name's Wendy Bunnell, and y'all, I feel like I am coming home. I really do. It's been quite a few years since I've been behind a microphone. I'm going to explain the journey and what Illuminate Your Essence even means. And truly, learning this process has been my own self-discovery, my own journey. And I would love to share this journey with you, because if there is even an absolute chance that something can add value to your life, then I'm here for you. I feel very, very honored that you would share this sacred space with me, especially when there are millions of podcasts out there. You could have turned to any number of them, but for whatever reason, this title drew you in, made you curious. Your heart was telling you that perhaps there was something here of value for you. And that is my intention for putting this together, is using one of my spiritual gifts, which is the gift of communication, explaining things in a way that people understand, explaining them in a way that might add value to their life. And when I use my spiritual gifts for the greater good of man, my prayer is that they will provide a seed of hope, a seed of light, a seed of truth, and that in exchange, I feel like I'm living my purpose, that I'm doing the things that I was sent here to do. You have something very unique that you were sent here to do as well. And so I'm going to share with you my journey that led to me even coming up with this title, with this podcast, with the projects that I'm going to be working on, so that you can kind of understand where I even came from in order to be able to share these stories with you. So let's go back about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I stepped into a new place of my being. What makes me kind of chuckle inside is how it happened. I started seeing these new things coming through called essential oils. Maybe you have tried one or two or more. Back then, it was kind of a weird, unique thing. Actually, it might have even been 11 or 12 years ago. Regardless, everything vibrates, right? Everything has energetic properties, and the higher they are, the better they make us feel. And so I was very drawn to these compounds, and I was putting them on my body. I was learning how to use them. They were kind of really this cool thing that I was trying out. But what I do think that it did is that higher vibration put me in a different frequency, a different energetic property that opened my mind a little bit more, helped me expand the perception that I had at that point, and led me to some personal discoveries. I started to go into personal development, wanting to expand who I was, become the greatest version of myself. And I started studying the masters and the greats out there. And I did start to see results as I applied that knowledge into my life. Started writing books, having podcasts, started to speak on stages. And my life was fantastic. I loved where I was. I loved being able to share this wisdom. But I'm going to be honest with you. I was in this very, very driven energy. Push, 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 do. And in this masculine energetic state, I literally burnt my body into the ground. I'm going to have an entire podcast on this, but let's just suffice it to say that kind of energy when you're a female is going to burn you into the ground. And I see many, many women out there doing this, feeling overwhelmed, feeling frustrated, creating something, but creating it in a way that is driven by fear instead of by love. Creating in a way that wants us to get the accolades and the praise from the world instead of getting the praise from within. And so about 5 years ago, I started to see an incredible decline in my health. I had what we would call a health crisis. One of the greatest blessings in my life. 5 years ago, I would not have told you that statement, but seeing how it's unfolded and unraveled the programming that I had prescribed to, the stories, the beliefs, the understanding of who I was at the core level have been dismantled over the last 5 years. I praise the Lord for unraveling the toxic ways that I believed and showed up in this world. And I had prayed many, many times that my eyes would be opened and that I would have a closer relationship with Source. You're going to hear along this way that I'm going to speak about God. I'm going to speak about the Lord. Those are my terms. We're speaking the same language. We just may have different words. You might say source. You might say divine. You might say universe. You might say energy. Regardless, I invite you to just switch the verbiage when I say something that goes, I know God is a trigger word, and you're welcome. Anytime that I do something or say something that perhaps might trigger someone, it's a beautiful invitation to go in and wonder, why? Why was I triggered? And what part of me does that set off? So moving forward along this journey, I am now having all sorts of mystery symptoms. The doctors are all scratching their heads. And I'll tell you what, I went to every doctor, every kind of specialist, everybody out there to try and get the answers that I was seeking, and I could not find them. And what happens when you're in that space, when you go through something intensely challenging, whether it's a death, a divorce, or a health crisis, there comes a point where you either surrender to what is, or you try and mask it with as many pills, as many substances so that you don't feel. I'm so grateful that I chose the first, that I decided to dive deep and learn what this was telling me about myself. And over the course of the next 4 years, I would discover many truths. Truths about my body and what it was telling me. Truths about trauma. Truths about breath. And most important, truth about intention and connection. Alignment with source. Alignment with that source greater and all-knowing. Understanding and perceiving things different. Becoming more present in the now and learning to create with flow, with joy, with intention, with excitement. Creating through love instead of fear. Creating heart-centered, gut-centered instead of head-centered. I have a wonderful friend named Laurel Houston who often will say, your heart is a compass, your head is a clock. So why are you going to a clock for your direction? Pretty profound, right? And that's truly what ended up happening is I started to discover that the truth was not from any external voice. I wasn't finding the answers from Dr. Google. I wasn't finding the answers from trained medical professionals. I was learning and unraveling what needed to be taught to myself for my journey to become the highest and best as I was navigating this life, this human existence that we have. And I was learning that all the answers were within. I see right now the pressures of the world are mounting every day. It doesn't take much but a turning on of the TV news to see that things are dismantling at a very, very quick pace. People are feeling fearful of the unknown, fearful of what to do, not feeling safe, wondering how they're going to get through this next chapter of the world. What if I were to tell you that we are living in the best time in human existence on planet Earth? I can bravely and courageously say that is true. What's happening is allowing us to get to a point where we will surrender, just like I did with my health concerns. I couldn't find the answers around me, so I went and dove within. The only way that we are going to feel peaceful, safe, understanding that this is purposeful in our life, is if we decide to start learning to listen to that source that was within all of us, going within instead of without. Many of my mentors say this different ways: going inward and upward, turning in, turning on. Those are all things that I'm going to be sharing with you. I'm going to explain to you, how do we illuminate that essence? How do we go within and have every answer to every question imaginable? How can we feel peace and alignment when everything is deconstructing around us? How can we show up and be that parent that we need to be? How do we show up in business? How do we create financial abundance when the economy is falling apart? How do we do all of those things? I'm here to tell you that the answers are within. I'm here to tell you that all the truth that you need does not come from external sources. That all your happiness, your joy, your bliss, all the things that we've continued to seek for are not going to be with the way we look or how much money we have. It's going to be from this place of absolute self-acceptance, absolute self-compassion, absolute self-forgiveness. And that everything we see from someone else is also a reflection of us. That we're more interconnected than we ever thought or imagined possible. And that the perceptions that we have created can then be recreated. We can create the life that we want. We can create the peace and the happiness and the abundance in our life. And we can do so with joy and ease and flow. Instead of doing, we can start to be and focus on the being. This process has transformed who I am. Everything around me has changed, because when you start to change and shift the things inside, everything changes externally. The last couple of years, I have seen more financial abundance effortlessly flow into my life. Do I take action? Absolutely. Every time my heart says, okay, it's go time, sister, I am turning on, turning in, turning on. Every time I feel the nudge to speak to someone or connect with someone in a very natural and loving way. There's no preconceived notions or underlying external reasons to be with someone other than my heart said to connect with that person. My heart said, this person will add value to your life and you will add value to their life, whatever that looks like. And in that energy, I'm starting to see that my relationships are changing. I recall when I was in my 30s, wishing I had any sort of friend or any sort of connection other than the cute little people in my family, which I loved, but I needed and yearned for girlfriends, yearned for couple friends, yearned for adult interaction. And I look around my life and I have so many connections. It's absolutely precious, absolutely unbelievable. I look at my own personal marriage. We're going to have lots of podcasts about each of these areas, but let's suffice it to say that my relationship, where I remember begging God to help me figure out a way to leave, is now one of the things that adds the most value to my life. And I didn't change relationships. I didn't change a person I was with. I changed the person within. I have so much self-compassion and self-acceptance. I wake up feeling very comfortable in my own skin, not feeling like I need anything to fill the void in my life. And I, at one point, remember telling myself I was permanently broken. You can find more peace. You can find more alignment. You can find more joy, and you can stay in love instead of fear. That's what this podcast is all about. I'm going to take you by the hand, and I'm going to help you navigate this journey. And it's not me telling you to do certain things and me being your guru. All I am doing is taking you back home, walking you right back to yourself, gently, gently shaking your shoulders to awaken to the power that is within, gently shaking you to be awakened to all of the mass confusion that's outside, but there's absolute clarity and peace within. This is my gift to you. I'm going to show you the tools. I'm going to show you some of the things that will help quicken the pace. But again, it is not me, Wendy Bunnell, that is the guru here. You are the guru. You have all the answers. You simply need to illuminate your essence. The core of who you are has never changed. You're a divine being having a human existence. We're going to turn that on and help you to navigate, learn to surrender, and learn to be instead of do. I can't wait for this journey to start with you. Are you all ready? I'm ready. I'm here. I'm with you. I'm for you, and I'm rooting you on. I will become your best advocate and your greatest cheerleader. Until next episode, illuminate your essence, my friends. Namaste. Thank you for listening. I invite you to continue the dialogue, the discovery, and the deep dive on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Also on my website. Feel free to download your free copy of the 5 steps to discovering your inner voice and begin your journey of discovering the truth within today.